Well, hello and welcome to episode 20 of Our Backyard Garden here in the South Carolina upstate. It's July 11th, Friday, 2025, and we just finished our front yard garden video. We're going to do our backyard now, and as always, we start by the garage at the top of the hill here, and showing off our little group of cleome that are doing really well. You can kind of see back there. I'll come around the car and show this group off. These were the first ones to come up. Still doing very well. They get tall and kind of spindly after a while, but these are growing up out of the concrete, as you can see. And our snapdragons are still doing well. Now, this has been our single most successful group of snapdragons in the whole yard, and they're coming up out of the concrete. We've had more flowers off of those. All the other snapdragons are long since finished up. So just interesting to me to see how nature works. Coming down the hill, we've got actually a pink cleome. We don't have many of those, also growing up out of the concrete. Most of ours are kind of more of a lavender or purple color like these, but we do get a few that are pink and even a handful that are more of a white color. But looking back through here, of course, our irises are long since finished. Daisies are finished. We do have a lot of morning glories, and I don't think at the moment that we have any flowers out. We've gotten the occasional little pale blue morning glory coming out, but nothing at the moment. And we have some tomatoes kind of hidden back in here. The morning glories are kind of taking those over, but we do have at least a few tomato fruit. There they are. Haven't turned yet red yet, but they will before too long. But this area has really gone crazy with morning glories this year, which is kind of interesting because they weren't doing that last year. And then we have this strange flower. Honestly, don't know what it is. We didn't plant it, but it's got these really unique flowers on it, and it's very green. We have another one over here. It's doing the same thing. I have to kind of assume it's kind of a weed, but I don't really know what it is. So if any of you are watching and you know what that is, please let me know. These are the leaves, very average looking leaves, and then these very characteristic stalks of flowers. And the plant itself is about 5 feet tall. It's grown really in the last 5 or 6 weeks. Came up out of nowhere. And then we have our azaleas here, the big white ones. And we have pink and blue in the front yard, and then the white here in the back. And they're really peaking right now. So this is a very fun time to look down the side of the yard, because you can really see all of the hydrangeas all down through there. They're a nice border type plant, and you see a lot of them here in the South Carolina upstate. They grow very well, and of course the flowers are really impressive, so a lot of people have these in their yards, and they grow quickly. This group right in here has gotten even taller just in the last few weeks. These are about, I'd say 10 or 12 feet in height, and if you look over into our neighbor's yard, theirs has turned into just pretty much a tree. It's probably a good 15, 16 feet in height. So they just keep getting bigger and bigger. Now, other things here in the yard, a lot of what we normally look at through here is kind of finished up, so I'm not going to spend too much time on those. We do have one butterfly bush that's still giving us a few flowers right in here, these bright purple ones, but it's long since peaked, and there isn't going to be too much more to see there. All of our lilies are finished up from this part of the yard. We still have some coleus down here, which I always say they don't flower, but they actually do flower. You've got these little tiny purple flowers on them. But usually when you put these into your yard, or into your garden, you're looking for the leaves, the variegated leaf patterns, because they're so pretty. But they do give you a few little wild looking flowers. And of course, impatiens, we put those in the spring. They're not exactly thriving right now, but they're alive. They're not struggling. We've had just enough rain to keep them going. Hopefully, once the weather starts to get a little bit cooler, maybe in August and September, they'll start to grow a little bit more. For right now, they're just kind of surviving as much as anything else. But we've had a lot of days recently that have been over 95 degrees, so a lot of plants struggle in that kind of weather. Now, one thing that doesn't struggle are these daylilies, and they are just about finished up. These beautiful lemon yellow. If you want to see the variety of daylilies that we have in our yard, go back and look at some of our earlier videos from this spring, because we have a lot of different ones. Almost all of them are finished now. These are kind of, I guess, holding up the rear, as they say. But the first one started to come out somewhere around, I'd say, May 1st. So we've had really a good 2.5 months of daylilies for the season. Back in here, our astilbe are finished. Great spring plant, low maintenance. And then lamb's ear through here, doing well. Strangely enough, our digitalis, which is normally just a spring flower, those are doing, still hanging in there. I won't say that they're doing well, but they're hanging in there. We didn't have any huge ones this year, but we had a lot of them, and that kind of made up for the lack of size. And there's some hostas back here. Got one wisteria that I planted back in the back by the fence and in the shade there. Just struggling to stay alive. What else do we have? Some black-eyed Susans. We're going to see more of those in a couple minutes. And then azaleas here. These will bloom again in the fall. We had a lot of blooms in the spring. Got a big dragonfly here. We get lots and lots of those down here by the pond, and a lot of different colors of them. I don't know much about their classification, but I think we've got a number of different species of dragonflies. They just thrive in this kind of environment. But most of the daylilies are finished back in here. Got a few regular lilies, these stargazers. These are just about done too. This will probably be the last week that we have those in our video. One big knockout rose here. This one has done very well, giving us a lot of red flowers. And even down here, you'd think, oh, we have another plant. This is actually the same plant. It's just got branches all over the place. A couple daisies left, a few zinnias still blooming. More daisies here. Up on our trellis, we've got a lot of climbing roses and jasmine and some clematis. Just about everything has finished up from its blooming back in the spring. We still had a few jasmine flowers even last week, and a few of the little pink climbing roses, but I think most of those are gone now. We do have this pink climbing rose. This one usually struggles because of black spot. It's grown back a few of its leaves, but it continues to put out flowers all through the summer. And then this little spiderwort here, you have to get out here in the morning to see its flowers. So I was glad to be able to do this video early today. I've got some veronica over here. They're just about finished up. Usually you'll see a lot of bumblebees on those. Not so much today, probably more in the afternoon. And then some more zinnias. It's got a whole bunch of things. It's a nice English cottage garden back in here. We've got calla lilies, which are about finished now. They've been out for a couple of months. Big butterfly bush here. Now this one is still thriving. This one comes out about a month after the others. So even though they're all finished, this one is still giving us these beautiful purple flowers. And hopefully they'll continue to bloom for another couple of weeks yet. Lots of zinnias here. These all came up from seed. My wife put in hundreds of zinnia seeds and marigolds and some other things, and we got them into the yard. They're giving us a ton of color back here right now. One big daylily that's still going. Most of our more complex daylily designs are finished for the year, but this one still has a few buds on it. So hopefully even next week we'll still have a few there. What else do we have? This is the end of our wisteria. Over here, we're going to see the other side of it in a moment. And then I have brought this up several times. I don't know what this plant is. It's very tropical, and it gives us these beautiful pink flowers. But I don't know the name of the plant. Somebody gave it to us, and we really don't know what it is, but we appreciate it. It's very nice. Over here, it's an area we've had a lot of things struggle in for some reason. This wisteria seems to be finally doing pretty well, trying to get it to grow up along the fence, although it's been more of a challenge than I would have expected. Got some gladiolus back in here. They're all done for the year. Those are primarily June flowers. Got some clematis growing along the fence here. This is the main side of our primary wisteria here. It's really taken over this side of the fence. And if you look, we've had this in for 5 years. You can see the size of the trunk down there. This is a massive plant. They tend to be fairly invasive. And, if it's in an area that you don't want them, you have to really work at getting them to go away. But in this case, I'm happy to have them here, that we don't really have anything else going on in this particular area. Now here on the terrace, if you watch these videos week by week, you'll hear me go into a diatribe about the canna. Not a big fan of them, but we are getting some beautiful tropical flowers right now off of the green ones. Now the red ones, which are the darker leaves, they don't do a whole lot. I've got one up there that you can see in the distance that's bloomed. That's the only one for all the vegetation. But the green ones do put out some of these beautiful red, yellow flowers, and so that's kind of nice. And those are probably going to continue to bloom for another couple of weeks. We've got some more over here. You see, nice close-up. Again, very tropical looking. And then we've got a lot of other yellow flowers. These are the black-eyed Susans. Got these growing, just kind of intermixed with daylilies and irises back in here. We had, just a week ago, we had a lot of daylilies fully in bloom. And they weren't just the regular wild kind that you see along the road. These are compound daylilies that have two parts to them, like a flower within a flower. And we had quite a few of these. The plants themselves don't look all that healthy. In fact, you see more dead vegetation than live vegetation back in there, but they did put out a nice group of flowers. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in this bed. I came out here in early April and weeded and got rid of dead stuff and really worked on this for several days. And you'd never know it. There's maple trees growing everywhere, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done to keep this garden looking nice. And unfortunately, it's more work than I have time for. So I'm going to show this off. And this is our water lily. We've had several daese where it has put up some beautiful flowers. Unfortunately, not today. We did see one a couple weeks ago, but these were just given to me a couple of years ago. I just put the pot in the water and let it go, and it has done pretty well since then. So hopefully it will continue to grow over time. Now on this side, up on the trellis there, you can see some of these climbing pink roses doing very well. We're not going to have the widespread flowering that we had back in the springtime, but even straight ahead up by the house, you can see a lot of flowers. That's all one plant there, going almost up to the top of the deck. That particular plant is up about 12 feet, and it's at any given time it's usually just covered with flowers. And we'll come back over here and finish things up. We have a nice daylily kind of hiding back in here, sort of a peach color with a kind of a raspberry rim and a yellow throat. Almost finished. There are a couple more flowers to come off of that. We've got some phlox in here that are going to be probably finished up in another couple of weeks. Some more veronica back in here. More veronica. A little random marigold that's shown up here. A few others up in this area. I think the seeds kind of blew off from up on the deck where we have a lot of marigolds in pots right now, all grown from seed. These are all calla lilies here. These are finished blooming now. These were absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend calla lilies. They spread. They give you beautiful, beautiful flowers. They're not terribly expensive, and they're a nice addition to any garden. What else do we have? And a nice daylily here. This area is almost finished up. We've had a ton of daylilies through here over the last, and regular lilies over the last month. But you get into mid-July when you have this kind of heat, it's just about finished. And then, yeah, these are all done. These lilies, you see the close-up of the climbing rose. And that's really about it. We had a little coreopsis down in here. It's covered over by weeds now. I think it's done blooming anyway. And we're back to the top. So that's our backyard garden. This time of year we get a little shorter videos because there isn't as much variety to show. As I said at the beginning of the, or at the end of the front yard video, we're at a point now where we're out of the midsummer. We've transitioned into, or out of early summer, we've transitioned into midsummer. And so hydrangeas, zinnias, cleome, those are going to be the primary flowers to give us color over the next few weeks. So we'll continue to do this every week, and hopefully you'll join us. And I hope it's sunny wherever you are. And until next time, happy gardening.